July 24th, 2021, Aaron and I decided to take on the Olympic Adventure Trail, a grueling backcountry 26 miles through the mountains. Started out with loading up, hopping on a ferry, leaving Seattle, heading over to Bainbridge Island, grabbing some breakfast, and getting up to the trailhead on the other side of Port Angeles. We unloaded the cars, got our bags on, got all strapped up, and hit the trail. The trail itself is super dope. It's mostly a single track. We got bikes on it, not too many walkers. And compared to the east side, the trails are actually pretty light as far as people on them. We did run into people, pass people, and see people at the stops, but it was not bad at all. The ride itself definitely turned out to be more challenging than either one of us thought.
On the Olympic Adventure Trail, the Great Olympic Adventure Trail,
before we knew it, we had already clocked a whole mile in, and we were ready to be done.
That's the fucking 1 mile mark? Oh my god. That's 1 mile, Aaron! That's 1 mile.
Dang.
We passed the first mile marker. We did it. That was it.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go back.
Alright.
Alright.
So we continue to trek on. I occasionally look back to make sure Aaron's following me. This actually is difficult because it tends to make me veer off the trail, and there's not a lot of room here.
There we go.
Our boards themselves have a base weight of probably around 50 pounds. Mine's strapped on with some extra tools and a couple of extra battery packs in case we run out. Add on top of that we're carrying 75 to 100 pounds on our back. The weight definitely adds up when you're carrying food, water, a tent, a sleeping bag, first aid, and whatever other camping essentials you may have. The other thing that I definitely did not foresee in this trip was how grueling all of these switchbacks would be. When making these altitude climbs, it's rarely in a line for a long period of time. There's always these switchbacks, which are tight turns, and they're hard to make, especially with all this extra weight on your back.
So I should have had this fucking camera out, y'all. We just hit a really nice section. Fucking exhausted, like 5 miles in, right? Hit the living room, took a break, and then hit a really nice flowy section, some downhill, and then through like some forest, and it's just nice and light and covered. And now we're going through a fucking clear cut. It's hot, dusty, windy because there's no trees breaking it. I'm about to head up over here and start this fucking hella ascent. Looks kind of straight, and we'll see how these boards do. So, our only concern at this point is having enough juice. It's going to be cutting it close, and we might be walking a little bit to get in, but we'll see. Aaron just had a flat back there, and we had to pause while we were over here in this clear cut. And now we're about to start the push up the ridge to the top. I think this is where shit gets a little bit aggressive, so we're gonna know soon how we're doing on battery and everything. I hope we make it. Fucking cutbacks are unreal. It makes it so difficult. Like, one, you get tired after a few minutes of throwing all this shit around, but two, so much weight so hard to make these turns that I could probably, most of them, make it and maneuver around. It's a quick ascent. I mean, we're already up 100 feet probably.
So yeah, I really dislike these switchbacks. They're no fun at all. Not only is it slowing us down to make these turns and running up our time to get to camp, we almost have to stop the board every time, and these low torque or low speed, high torque takeoffs use a lot of battery amps. And every time we have to take off on a dead stop, especially on an incline going up a hill like this, it's just wreaking havoc on our watt hours per mile and draining our resources a bit faster than either one of us had forecast. But this view right here is amazing as we climb up a few hundred feet, looking back down
right back there
over that valley that's devastated by the clear cut.
Oh, I saved it! Fuck! Thank you! Oh.
After this section right here, we got a little bit further and we got to a stopping point. We checked out our time, the amount of miles that we had covered, our watt hours per mile, and what we had left battery wise. Doing those calculations, not only were we going to cut it really tight and probably be a couple miles short, but at the rate that we're clocking, it was going to put us at dark before we reached camp. So we discussed and decided to pull back and track back the 8 miles that we came in and then go take the car to camp. The ride back to the car was actually a lot of fun because at this point both of us were familiar with the trail and not as concerned about running out of juice. So was definitely able to run a little bit harder and have a lot more fun blazing through these trails.
Back down to the clear, back down and through the clear cut.
Also at this point I've been carrying 100 pounds on my back for about 8 miles, and I've managed to get used to it and feel more comfortable throwing my weight and the backpack's weight around on this board. So we trekked back along the 8 miles that we came in on. No major issues, no more flat tires. It was a really fun ride. We made it back to the car, loaded up, and we drove into Log Cabin Resort where we had planned on camping. We set up camp there and charged the boards, and it was all in all a great day. We were both happy and felt very accomplished by the ride, and just started preparing for tomorrow, which is going to be the Devil's Punch Bowl and the Spruce Rail Trail, and it's going to be epic. Stay tuned for part 2 of this video, y'all.
Alright. Whew, fuck me. So this is living room.
Hey, it's the living room.
It's the living room!